want to talk about intentions, and those are intentions behind our emotions and how crucial and important that is to manifesting whatever it is that we're wanting to bring into our reality. Because the intentions behind the feeling and the emotion itself is where the magic lies. So if we are mindful of our thoughts and we're mindful of our thought patterns and how we're thinking and the food that we're putting into our mind, which are our thoughts, right? Making sure that they're healthy thoughts and that we are doing our shadow work to correct our neural pathways and our toxic patterns, our thinking patterns that have, been thrown onto our blank canvas since childhood. It's our responsibility to take care of that, right? And rewire our brains and rewire our minds and our thinking patterns. So we have to be really, really persistent with that, because that took a long time. Depending on where you are in your journey, if you're 40 years old and you're just now starting to fix those patterns, it took you 40 years to get there. It's going to take you time to rebuild a foundation for yourself. So be really patient and give yourself credit where credit is due as well. I think sometimes we forget to do that, and it's really crucial for our transformation and our growth and our evolution. And this is a time of expansion. We're expanding, we're rediscovering ourselves, and we're remembering who we are. And remember, our boundaries and our guidelines that we set have been put in place for a very profound reason, and we need to enforce those and make sure that no one is crossing those boundaries. They have been placed by us on purpose so that we aren't taken advantage of and we aren't used as people's personal doormats. And we for so long have been pushovers and given people chance after chance after chance after chance, and we're realizing we're not doing that anymore. We're stepping in our power, we're owning who we are, we're laying down these guidelines and these boundaries for a reason. And that includes family, our flesh and blood. We need to enforce these boundaries with family just as we would with anyone off the street, a random stranger, a coworker. Our family is just as capable of being jealous of us or just trying to intrude on what it is we're trying to attain, which is our highest vibrational frequency right now. And our family, who has spent so much time around us, knows more than anyone our triggers, what they can do to get under our skin. So really be mindful of who you're spending your time with. Be mindful of your surroundings, your friends, whoever it is that you're considering your friends. Not many people have our best interest at heart, especially right now. We're triggering. It's trigger city. We're triggering a lot of people. Our presence is bringing a lot of people's insecurities and fears and scars and wounds to the surface, and they're not liking it very much. So, like Pete said in his video, we have a target. We're like a walking target. So, protecting our energy is crucial right now. We need to be really mindful of that. And we're not willing to just give it to any Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street, that's for sure. And so, back to our intentions. Right now, we get to decide the timeline that we're on. So it's really important for us to be mindful of the thoughts we're thinking and the intentions behind those thoughts, because that's creating the future timeline, right? So if as a collective, we are all on that same frequency and that same thought pattern, and have those same emotions behind our thoughts and what we're thinking, that's where we're going to be able to bring to life what it is we came here to do. Pete made a really good point tonight as far as the ego. I think it's a big misconception of people say that we need to kill the ego or we need to completely get rid of the ego. He made a really great point with merging with our ego. We can't be in this world without one. We are human. We're imperfect. We're perfectly imperfect. So we always have an ego. So he made a really great point with merging with our ego and telling ourselves that we're always our higher self. I am my higher self. And wanting to show up and having that intention and that energy behind showing up as our higher self every single day and delivering when it comes to that. I personally have been going through some things, especially when it comes to my personal family and people just wanting to intrude and step in and say things that are way out of line and put their nose where it doesn't belong. And for a long time, I just bit the bullet and let them kind of steamroll me, and I would just turn the other cheek. But now, with my boundaries and guidelines that I have set in place, there's a boundary violation. It is to be respected. It is to be followed and enforced. And that's a boundary that I have for myself. I am to enforce that boundary and not let anyone take advantage of my kindness or mistake my kindness for weakness, because that's the issue that I had a long time ago for a while. People would mistake my kindness for weakness, and that's not at all what's happening, and I won't allow it anymore. So whatever it is that we're feeling inside is becoming our reality. We're intertwined with this matrix that we're living in, and we need to be really mindful of what we're throwing out into the matrix, because we're creating that reality and we're creating that timeline, right? So those are just some things I kind of wanted to touch on in this video. I hope that you all are having a great night, and I will hop on here soon when I have a little bit more time, but I do hear one of my little ones in there, so I'm going to get to them, and I hope to talk to you guys all later. Have a great night.